Hello there, I'm Maria from the Rich and Simple Living. Sorry I've not been on all week, but I've had family business to attend to and such things, so I've not really had a chance to catch up with everybody. But I thought today I'd show you some of the books that Sian had for Christmas, and they're really good for home education if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, as I've said before, Sian's into history and a wartime history and countries and things like that. So on her Christmas list, she'd put a list of books and things that were to do with that sort of thing, and she's got all of them, I think, that she put down. So I thought I'd just show you them, what they're like. I mean, I don't know, maybe some of your children are interested in such things, I don't know. We've got a book here, What Happened When in the World. What happened when in the world? So, see that? So, it says on the back, from the Ice Age to the French Revolution and from the invention of the wheel to the moon landings, stunning historical maps show you what happened when in the world. Where did the Vikings go on their longest voyages? Where did the Black Death strike? Where did the most bloodthirsty Caribbean pirates hide? Where were the most terrible battlegrounds of World War One? There's more than 65 astonishing maps showcase when and where the most important events and movements in world history happened. So it's a nice hardback book. I've not had a chance to actually look at all these. What I like about these, you can see, DK books. So they are designed with education in mind. So I'll just flick to a random page so you can just see the kind of layout. There's one there, the first farmers. That'd be interesting because I come from a family of farmers, so I don't know if you can see. I can't see past. So you've got like writing, history, pictures. I don't know if it's one page or each page goes to something different. Let's have a look what the next page goes to. Alright, so each page is a different subject then, because it goes to megaliths on the next page, and again sort of maps, pictures and the write-up. So it's nice and simple. If you just want your straight facts, oh dear. If you just want your straight facts, it's brilliant. Just look it up, get your straight facts. And of course, if you're an older child and you're interested in what you've just looked at, then you can progress on to something more. I mean, like me and Sian, we often Google things or find a fact on something and think, that sounds good, let's have a Google and see more about that. And you often find a lot more of what you want then. But as a starting point for a younger child, it's brilliant just to get the main facts of something, you know, and then later they can build on from there. And they've got lots of maps in the background. Something a lot of boys might like, Space Age. Oh, that looks really good. It's a really nice book. And lovely colours and whatnot. And on the back then we've got a world map. So I have to peek around so I can see that you can see. So yeah, we've got a world map on the back. So that's a really nice book. It's a nice book just to pick up, just to glance at for various topics and points of interest. So that's great for a starting book. Now, our next books, they're all big hardback books. Again, this is another DK book, so good for education. Timelines of Everything. So it says, explore 13 billion years of history from the Big Bang to our own digital age. Amazing visual timelines show you how the world's greatest events unfolded, from the rise and fall of empires to inventions that changed our lives, from key scientific breakthroughs to eye-opening developments in art. So, sounds like a bit of everything for everybody there, really. So, we'll start at the beginning when it shows you the story of the universe. To bring back a bit, you probably see better. I'm just covering you up with it. So, it's got pointers on that. And the book sort of swings around there now you look at it. Dinosaurs. Life on Earth, so it sort of goes that way up then the book does, so they can, I suppose, get the timeline thing in. It's quite nice again, lovely colours. I love big hardback books with lots of colour and picture and things that you can just glance at or pick out. We've got the written word, that's quite interesting. your child is interested in where writing first started, things like that. And it's got different timelines and when things were written and writing first appeared. Then it goes on to the ancient world, which covers Mesopotamia, land of the pharaohs, ancient Greece, the Celts, the Persian Empire, imperial China, Rome and ancient India. Then it gives you each of those in sections and tells you about them. Got battles in ancient times, and we come right up to modern times. We'll skip right up where about the vote, getting the vote in modern times. Well, more or less modern times. Yeah, it takes you right up. It covers the Holocaust and tells you about Anne Frank, and Sian did have a book on Anne Frank because she is interested in that. I'm getting that goes that way up on the Holocaust. So it does cover right up, and where does it go right up to? The story of robotics. Does it go beyond there? Oh, it's got a bit at the back on British rulers, which again is interesting if you're learning all the kings and queens of Britain. And it's got US presidents, if you do know the countries. I don't know if we've got British prime ministers though. We don't appear to have British prime ministers, which is a bit strange that we've gone to US presidents. Although that's going to be out of date, isn't it, come the 20th of January. So, but yeah, it's a really good book. Again, another book that you can just pick up, look at a fact and take it from there, explore from there. So you can work your way through the book through the timeline, which actually might be a good idea, because when me and Sian have finished, nearly knocked myself out with it then, it's quite heavy. When me and Sian have finished doing a history, Key Stage 3 books, I might actually pick this book up and say, right, let's go through the timeline of everything and take our history from there. And then we pick out interesting points and do topics and things on them as well. And visit places, and which is what we're hoping for when all this lockdown eventually comes to an end. Another one she's had, now we're going into wartime now. Another DK book, so another educational book. This is on the Vietnam War. They're really heavy, these books. I mean, they're like that thick and solid. I had to carry them all down the stairs because I've come downstairs, put them on the table so I can film them to show you. So I've carried them out of Sian's bedroom. They're heavy. Everybody goes, hey, Mum, do you think you should carry half of that pile at a time? No, I'm fine. Come down slowly, one step at a time, and feeling where the next step was with my foot. Oh dear. I might take them back up in 2 sections. So yeah, this is the Vietnam War, the definitive and illustrated history. It's got detailed descriptions of each episode in the conflict, from Operation Passage to Freedom and to the excavation of the US Embassy in Saigon. They are announced by the stories of those who witnessed the drama unfold, which is always quite nice when you get people who've written about it, their views, they were there. It's quite nice to read them. So it says it's one of the longest American conflicts of the 20th century. Now, I don't really know much about the Vietnam War. Obviously, I know of it, but I don't really know anything about it at all. It's not something I've looked into or studied. It's got a timeline in it, about revolts and resistances, and it's got Ho Chi Minh, leader. So, like I say, I mean, from independence to war, I don't really know anything about this without reading the book myself. But it does seem to cover everything in depth. It's quite a nice section of that life on base, of the soldiers. It's an extract here that somebody had said most of the time you didn't know you were in a war. Turning points, Nixon's war. Then it's got prisoner of war objects. Pictures of that. So it really tells you everything in depth. well, say in depth. It has got a lot more writing than the other books. They're not just pointers. It seems to be covering everything. What's, whys and wherefores of it all. So yeah, if you're interested in war, well, your child's interested, or even yourself, yeah, if you're interested in things and you want to know more about these things, they are really good books. Really good books to study. And Sian loves to know all about the world and the history of the world and the wars in the world and why it all happened and everything like that. So next one, she's got another DK book, World War II Map by Map. Now I do know more about World War II because although I wasn't born then, my mum was born during wartime and my granddad was in the army, and also we lost one of my mum's uncles and he's buried in a war cemetery in Minturno in Italy. Well, we've got lots of his things, got lots here, because the house that they lived in had been in the family for over 100 years, so all the stuff was just left. So yeah, it's quite living history really, having some of these things that he possessed and the family possessed. But yeah, World War II Map by Map. So like it says, this tells you about it, the slide to war from 1918 to 1938. So it seems even after the First World War nothing was truly settled, but each page shows you like maps what it's talking about. For this is the legacy of World War One. It's got maps on it. That's quite nice because it leads you up to what happened in World War Two. Then there's another map, League of Nations. I remember learning that about that at school myself. I can never speak properly, can I? Never. And Europe of the dictators, and again maps. Then it's got a section on Hitler and Nazi Germany. So it's showing you right through. Then it tells you about China in turmoil, Spanish Civil War, the Japanese War. Well, that's quite a good map. You need some good strong glasses to see them places. But yeah, and then it goes to war in Europe, and it goes through everything. The Winter War in Finland, Battle of Midway. I'm skipping big sections now. Different operations, weapons, and each page has got a map on it. So it's obviously describing all the different things that went on in World War II and the maps and what it related to. It says on the back, to follow the key developments of World War II in unprecedented visual detail with more than 100 specially commissioned and historical maps covering all the major theatres of combat. So that's basically what it is. So she's really interested in that. So I think in her history, the Key Stage 3 history book we've got, you're a bit high up, aren't you? The Key Stage 3 history book that she's got, we do cover a section on World War I and World War II. So might be very useful to get this book out then, and maybe we'll linger on that a bit and do a few separate essays on it while we're on that section, and we'll be able to look at the maps and see what was happening where and when. Now the next two things aren't actually books. To me and her dad had actually bought her. And they're like replica newspapers. Read all about it. So one is the Battle of Britain RAF on Offensive. She hasn't opened them. And the other one is Nazis Raid London and 13 Towns. I've seen another one since on the Blitz, so I might get to that. Because they're only a couple of £1 each. I think I got them in Amazon. They were about £3.99, I think. £4. And they're replica newspapers. But she hasn't opened them yet. But they're just nice to keep in with her things, because she likes things like that. So, I don't think this is a DK book. This is one me and her dad got her. Because when we were doing English comprehension, we did a piece on Scott of the Antarctic, and she did a comprehension on it and reading the bit, and she was really interested and asking questions. So we did a lot of Googling. And then the following week, when we did comprehension again, it followed on with a letter to Scott's widow. And so we carried on talking about it. And because it was getting close to Christmas, and I was thinking, she's took an interest in the Antarctic and that. So I quickly put her a book in my basket and got her a book about the Antarctic. So The Continent of Antarctica. It's a really nice book. It says it's a must for anyone interested in the Antarctic. Richly illustrated, and it has got beautiful pictures. So on the front cover, it's like a map, and we go into an introduction of Antarctica, and each page has got these really nice pictures. This is what I like about all these big hardback books. They're really well illustrated. Nice. Sean likes penguins. So, and it's got a lot more writing in this that it tells you all about it. The subantarctic islands and the global warming, climate changes, talks about it, historical background, the makeup of Antarctica, the geography of Antarctica, and like a little map of it there. It's quite a good book. Every page has got coloured pictures. It's got working at sea by the Antarctica and pictures of it, what they do living and working in Antarctica. Oh, I don't know if I'd want to. How cold does that look? I don't think I'd want to be in a tent on that. So yeah, she's quite interested in that. So again, I mean, that's quite a good book to incorporate with geography, things like that. And of course, if you write an essay on it, you've got your English as well then. Oh, my pal's falling. My table got a slight bow on it, and because they're all hardback shiny books, are all going trying to stack them in the right order. She said, don't mix them up. Got a horrible histories book here, Terrible Trenches field book. So this is a little bit more light-hearted of a book. What was life really like in the terrible trenches? How did soldiers cope with big bangs and shrill shells? It's a tongue twister. As well as measly meals and lousy lice. It says, marking 100 years since the end of the First World War, this horrible history's field book is packed with fold-out flaps, fact-filled booklets, trench letters and stories from both sides of the barbed wire. It's history with the nasty bits left in true horrible history style. So we've got bits like the frightful First World War. So this might appeal to younger children because there's no horrible histories. It's sort of a very light-hearted approach while they're trying to get facts into you. Knowing your enemy. These are quite thicker pages, or well, really thick. I think it's because they've got flaps on them. Here, look. Public Enemy #1. Can you see? And then under the flap, it tells you Public Enemy #1. And they've got some there as well. So each page has got things like that. And so I assume that's why the pages are pretty thick. So they can do that. Curious clothing. Balmy battle plans. Wicked weapons. So it's made it like a fun way really of learning history for a younger person who may not be so interested, not to begin with. And we've got a little bit here, rotten rats, and it tells you about it, and it opens up. Oh, if I could keep it open. There we go. What does it say? Vanquish vile vermin. I've got a spade splat, a cheesy trick, or smoke them out. It's really good. So it's quite a fun book to look through whilst learning your history. So they're really good. So yeah, painful punishments. Yeah, it's a fun book, but at the same time, it's great for learning, like I say. So sometimes you want something a bit light-hearted. Although the subject isn't actually light-hearted, but you know, a way of learning it is what I mean, a light-hearted way to learn it if you don't always get it at once. So here we've got little DK Eyewitness World War One book. Witness the horror and heroism of the Great War, from the assassination of an archduke to life in the trenches. So on the first page of this, it's not been opened or taken out, so I won't take it out, but it includes a free wall chart. So you've got a wall chart there, but she's not undone it, so I won't do that, and that's for her to do. So yes, we've got lots of content, lots of coloured pictures. A very little shot, you can see like the colour pictures. War in the West. It's a bit awkward to turn page. And it goes on. Joining up. Stalemate. Got a section then of life in the trenches. Let's see. Look. And it tells them about life in the trenches. Ready to fight. Keeping watch. Gas attacks. Tells them about the gas attacks. Every page is packed with bits of information and full of pictures and genuine pictures. And it's good look. It shows you here an ordinary glove, and then a glove shrunk by gas. And then that. It's full of facts and things like that. So, got it in the East, the war in the desert, espionage, tank warfare, then where the USA joins in, mines and mud, armistice and peace, and then the cost of war. It's always quite sad to see things like that. And then it's just at the back, then it's just got some bite-sized facts and some questions and answers there. So that's quite nice for younger children as well, for learning. Okay, like you say, you can pick facts out and see the back of it. You can pick facts out and go from there. They do quite a few of these books. They do a lot on rocks and minerals and dinosaurs, crystals and gems. Sian used to be into rocks and minerals. We went to a lot of caves and bought more rocks, minerals and things, and got her books and that. She was mad on them for a while. And dinosaurs, she can name all the dinosaurs. She seems to progress for her interest. And this really is where I wish that I'd have home educated her from the beginning, because all these interests that she's had, we could have done a lot more with them if she'd have been home educated from the start, instead of me sending her to primary school. So yeah, I mean, we've got Titanic there. She was interested in that as well. But she's got lots of videos on that, but we could still do that in history. Now we've got a Time Life book, World War II in 500 photographs. Nearly dropped it. Witness the greatest conflict in history. And that, without going into it too much, but each page, I'll just show you that. Each page is photographs, sections. Shall I bring it down a little bit? I'm stretching up here. There we go. I can see better without me lifting. Yeah, it covers each section, Germany targets Netherlands, and then it's got like proper old photographs. I love looking at things with proper old photographs. Sketches are great, but looking at real photographs that they had, I don't know, it makes these things more real, doesn't it? So yeah, we've got Air Force. Yeah. So yeah, it's all like that. I mean, she's an awful lot of war books, isn't she? But she's interested in that. And like I say, when we get to her history in her Key Stage 3 book, and we get to that stage of the wars, we'll fetch these books out, and we'll probably spend quite a bit of time doing all that. Another book she got was Icy Graves. This is another one me and my husband got her. Exploration and Death in the Antarctic. She was so interested in what had happened to Scott of the Antarctic that found this book, and it tells you about other people. The extraordinary stories contained within Icy Graves leave one both appalled at the losses and amazed that the exploration of Antarctica has not claimed even more lives. So it's about different deaths, I think, in the Antarctic. See if we can see if there's anything that the people who fell in crevasses and all sorts of things. So this is all sort of writing. There's not really any pictures. I think there might be a few somewhere. I think I saw some somewhere, but oh, it's like a few in the middle section of the book, but it's mostly all reading material that she'll read about it. Stories about different explorations and people that have actually died on the Antarctic, so hence the title Icy Graves. So I thought she'd like that. We've got a little quick pamphletty book, The Cold War. That's just a small one. It says simple history telling the story without information overload. So basically it's just pictures and snippets. So again, she can just look at it and Google from there where she wants to be, what she wants to see. Oh, excuse me. So it's all pages like that. So it's nice, simple, but and nice for a younger child as well. That's the beauty of all these books. I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are, does it really? All these books are good. Right, this is a nice reading book. Sian loves to read. The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. She was very taken with the story of Anne Frank. And so my daughter bought her the book for Christmas. It basically said, in July 1942, 13-year-old Anne Frank and her family, fleeing the horrors of Nazi occupation, went into hiding in an Amsterdam warehouse. Over the next 2 years, Anne vividly describes in her diary the frustrations of living in such confined quarters, the constant threat of discovery, the hunger and fear. Her diary ends suddenly when in August 1944 she and her family were finally discovered by the Nazis. This book provides a deeply moving and unforgettable portrait of Anne Frank, an ordinary and yet an extraordinary teenage girl. The single most poignant true life story to emerge from the Second World War. And an extract from a book where she said, in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. That's a penguin book. See, penguin there, penguin. So that's not got no pictures, it's just all writing, but it's a book she'll read. And that might be quite good because we do read alouds and things like that. Might be nice for a read aloud or quiet time reading. We'll see. But she's working through all the books at the minute, but she'll get to that. But a book she has started, that how she reads, I don't know. She wanted to know more about the history of Russia. So it was a penguin book, and I was thinking, nice and easy for her to do. Although she is a good reader, but I still tend to go with things with pictures. The Penguin History of Modern Russia, from Tsarism to the 21st century. So I thought, oh, that will tell her everything she needs to know history-wise and whatnot. But look, it's a thick book. Pages and pages of writing, which to me, because I'm not interested in that, I just think, oh, could anybody read up that? I'd be bored after the first couple of pages. But she's already made a start on it, and there's a marker, and she's already started reading it. She's put her other books on side, she started reading that. So obviously it is just a history of modern Russia. Russia's recent past has encompassed revolution, civil war, mass terror and 2 world wars, and the country is still undergoing huge change. In his acclaimed history now fully revised and updated, Robert Service provides a superb panoramic viewpoint on Russia, its rulers, and its ruled from Tsarism to today. So she'll probably like it. She must be. She's reading through it. Not my sort of thing, but I suppose as in the view of geography and history, it's quite good for studying a country. So yeah, she's doing that. So that's her great big pile of books. Swing around, have a look at her big pile of books. There you go. She has had other books, but not so much educational, like learning cat language, the meow language. Not so much education. I don't think that'll pass off as learning languages. Not for schooling. What language do you learn? Cat language. So yeah, she's got like a James Herriot cat stories book as well. So she's got books on other things as well, but these are the ones that she's had that she's interested in, that she can use for homeschooling. So I just thought I'd show you that. I've ordered her some maths books, you know, all the issues I have with maths. I've told you all about this many a time. And I've ordered some maths books, simple maths, sort of year 4 age maths where we think she got lost. Basic things, decimals, telling times, all the sort of things that she's going to need to know when she's older. So I thought we'd concentrate on them. I've never heard of the books before. Blue Maths or something, I think they're called. Not heard of them. I'm waiting for them to come. So when they do come, I'll show you them, see what they're like, and let you see. Some of you might have heard of the books or used them. I don't know. If you've heard of them, please let me know if they're good or not. But I thought they just covered the things that she needs to learn. So I won't worry about her age-related things. We'll do what she needs to know. And I'm determined this year I am not getting a pickle with any of it. I'm going to go with the flow as much as possible. So, on that note, I'm going to leave you. It's Saturday, my washing's on. I've got to go and sort my washing out now. So, I'm going to do that. Dean's outside. He's just finished building the new duck pen. We didn't get it finished before Christmas, but then we weren't in a hurry because obviously with the avian flu, they've all got to stay under cover. I don't think we'll be moving them across just yet. Or I've got to put more areas out for washing our feet in. It means I've got to have one, well, I've got one where they are now, but it means I've got to have another one where the ducks are going, and keep washing my feet in and out all the time. So it's easy to keep them in one block for the minute. So that's what we're going to do until this avian flu passes. But that's finished. I think he just wants to put a bit of felt on, but that's neither here nor there. Today he's making a gate ready to go in the run. You've seen, I've shown you the little run bit where we put a gate on. So yeah, that's what he's doing. So anyway, I'm going to go now, and I'll perhaps catch you one day next week, maybe Monday, with the menu, tell you how that's going. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now.